Asato perfection in the pour. The Asato product line of bar and kitchenware is the exact match of quality, price, and presentation. From martini glass rimmers to condiment holders to bartending gift sets to bottle pourers, this is a massive, wide range of barware perfect for your restaurant, bar, home bar, and even your kitchen.
It's a great gift for holidays or birthdays. Grab this amazing product line of Asato products here today at New York Bar Store. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. What is up? This is me again here, Faith, your host here in the NYBS podcast. And I'm super, super excited since this is honestly the part 2 with our podcast guest today, and it's to Cody and Haley with the Home Bar Network. Again, this is episode 4, and I'm honestly very, very excited for you to see what's coming in for part 2. I know you were so happy, and you were very excited getting to know these two beautiful people, sharing their experiences, sharing all of the knowledge, every single thing that they need to share. They want to share all about their branding for Home Bar Network, and specifically individual careers of Cody and Haley. Well, I don't want to keep you guys waiting at this point. Let's get this started, get the ball rolling. I'll see you in this video. What countries were the most memorable for you that you learned a lot and used that wisdom in your own business right now?
Yeah.
First off, I'd say we were lucky enough to be able to spend 30 days in Southeast Asia for our honeymoon. So and we kicked it off in Singapore. And we had been following
Asia Light.
They speak English. So you start there and then you branch off, right? And so we started in Singapore, being that, it is the place for hawker stall, foodie culture, street food epicenter. You can find anything there. And it's like, there's Michelin star hawker stalls. You have $6 plate of noodles with a Michelin star. it's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
So we started there, and I'll let you say, he had been following Employees Only, which is a very, very, very critically acclaimed cocktail bar in New York City for years.
And then they opened other locations. They had Miami, I think is not there anymore, but they had one in Singapore. So that was one of our first stops, was to go to Employees Only, EO, as people in the industry call it, in Singapore. And just the level of service that we got there was incredible. We were there on our first day, and then 30 days later when we came back, they remembered our names.
They remembered our names.
And we were only there for cocktails in Singapore are not cheap.
And we sat at that bar for maybe 3 hours tops.
That's what I was gonna say, like maybe an hour and a half.
I wasn't long.
Because cocktails are very expensive. So we were like, we can go here, have a couple
each.
for $32 each or something like that. So
we're ballers on a budget here.
Yeah, we had a whole month of a budget that we had to fit in. So we weren't there for a long time, but when we came back a whole month later, they remembered us.
They greeted us by name.
Yeah, remember what we drank, what we ordered.
It was phenomenal.
But that was just one example. The entire time we were traveling around Thailand and Cambodia and Malaysia, and just the level of service that we got at cocktail bars and regular establishments was just unbelievably gracious and kind. And they were, really very just kind of concentrated on what does the guest want? What does the guest experience look like? And it's something that we've lost here in the United States. I really feel like that in a lot of places.
You can find it, but it's rare. It's becoming very rare.
Harder and harder. We live in such a commercial,
fast casual kind of environment.
Yeah.
All these new kind of trendy chain restaurants, not that they're bad or anything, but there's very more of a focus on a fast casual kind of environment. And, I guess we're kind of traditionalists when it comes to our view of hospitality and, what a bar experience.
Slowing down, enjoying yourself, taking your time, and then having a restaurant or a bar that understands that.
Which brings us to Paris.
Yeah, which brings us to another place, I think we'd say.
Yeah, I'd say our experience, we went to Harry's New York Bar in 2015.
16.
it was December.
December 2000.
2015. And we sat down at Harry's New York Bar in the middle of the day. I think it was like 3 p.m., 2 or 3 p.m. And just, there was not very many people there, which was great. And just had the most amazing experience with this older gentleman behind the bar in like a full white coat. And he made us this, just really like focusing on making this beautiful Bloody Mary.
That's where the Bloody Mary was invented in 1917. So,
and I typically am not a Bloody Mary person. I don't really drink Bloody Marys, but here I am. They created the Bloody Mary. I'm going to get a Bloody Mary.
Right.
I think we had 2 or 3 each. They were so good. And just to see his process and it was just, there was so much attention to detail. And it was also, though, still simple. It wasn't some like cheesy or gimmicky presentation. It was just, very well done.
There's no garnish even, right? It's just a highball glass with a Bloody Mary in it and a plastic stirrer. And then he takes
homemade. It was like a homemade
the
American
quality of all the ingredients and were just top notch. And then he just takes salt and a pepper shaker and clinks them over the top of your Bloody Mary to get just a little bit of salt and pepper on top. And in contrast to a lot of like Bloody Marys that we see here in the States, you got an entire hamburger stuck to the top of the glass and a chicken finger sticking out the side and, beef jerky coming out. It's like it's all very cool, but if you just work with quality ingredients from the start, you don't need any gimmicks, right? Because the ingredients speak for themselves and they're all able to shine through equally and be all delicious. So I think we take a little bit of inspiration from things like that we've learned while traveling, and just that it's quality, not quantity. And we try and show that in all of our cocktails and the things that we make by not overwhelming with multiple crazy ingredients, just being there for the sake of being there. More like, letting everything
have its place for a reason.
Yeah.
It's super happy to hear that because again, from the countries that you were able to go to, Malaysia, Cambodia, there's a lot that you were telling me, just a Bloody Mary story, just a hospitality, and being traditional. Then you've been learning that, you've been loving that here in Southeast Asia, and having to bring that there in the US and bringing that to people that you were serving. Well, that is a top-notch service that you were just giving the people that you were serving. And again, I want to tap in here. What are the biggest achievements you both have achieved in this industry?
Oh man. I'd say being able to pivot and create a business after the pandemic was a crazy time when that hit and no one knew what was going on or what to expect, and things were closing down, and it was like, oh my God, what do we do? What do we do? I'd say I'm pretty proud of the achievement of being able to think out of the box and say, okay, how can we find a silver lining here? How can we take our skills and make them work with no bars open? And I think that's got to be our biggest achievement. Is
absolutely. Well, not only did we make it work, we replaced our old careers. So it became something that we were doing to pass the time during the pandemic into something that we're building and supporting our family with.
Yeah. So that's got to be.
Yeah, that's up there for sure. That's number one. I think, man,
we hope to have a TV show someday, but
if not a TV show, we have other projects in the works that we'd like to, duplicate our own efforts as teaching cocktails and make it something that we can bring to more people, whether it's, retail locations of boutique liquor stores that have a classroom attached, or, traveling and having more people that are employed by us that can teach on the same level in multiple households in the same night. That's kind of our goal.
Yeah, because after all, we are called Home Bar Network. So we are working on scaling to create these networks across major cities across America,
that's the main goal.
And globally, hopefully, eventually. And but we're very proud of the achievement of being able to start a company in a very uncertain time.
Wow, that sounds pretty amazing. It seems like there's, again, 2020, just the pandemic just hit. We really don't know what's next for us, especially like, is it how long would this take, right? We want to we want some parties, we want some events, but we cannot do it. It's all virtual. But you just saw the good in that. You saw the picture, the best picture in that. And now you are the owners of Home Bar Network. And I agree. Having to see the both of you, like, honestly, would really be good if you're in a TV show or like in a YouTube video and such. You look very, there's a lot of potential in this one. And we are so excited to be a part of that as well, to be able to help you get into that. And of course, mainly we will really work forward and look forward in seeing you internationally as well. Well, there's a lot coming in, and we are so excited about that. You can even do seminars, as I think so.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's quite good. And there's a lot of networks that would just love to hear how you do these things, just to even see you do Tokyo Sour. There's a lot to say and to hear from the both of you as well. But of course, at this part, I want to ask, what are the worst mistakes you both have experienced and don't want others to do anymore?
Again, I feel like we keep going back to this. I think number one would be, not the worst mistakes we see bars making are programs are not having consistency across the board. I think that's the number one, like the nail in the coffin for a lot of bars is you might, as a guest, go in and have one bartender make you a really great drink. And you think, oh my gosh, I love this place. I can't wait to come back. And then maybe you come back next week and then you have a different bartender who's working and they make you a drink and it tastes completely different.
Yeah.
And I think consistency will kill a bar program faster than anything. Inconsistency.
Yeah.
And it goes back to, proper training, and are the bartenders using jiggers?
Yeah, I think that's like, if I could point to a mistake that I made, just as maybe from a skill set standpoint, not one actual mistake, is just not bartending properly, not correctly measuring, not using jiggers. And it's amazing how common it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to pour a vodka soda and not use a jigger, but we're talking about, if you're trying to create a craft cocktail with multiple different measurements, if you're trying to just, eyeball it, not everyone can do that. And so that leads to a lot of inconsistency and a lot of bar programs that
it leads to, losses on the bar, losing money because people are overpouring or underpouring or, making cocktails that aren't coming out the right way. And so somebody's not going to come back again because they can't trust that it's going to taste the same way it did the other day when they had it, things like that. So I think it all comes down to creating that consistency and the accuracy.
And then kind of on the flip side of that, I'd say it's not having a friendly face or, again, having hospitality behind the bar, or from the host to the server to the bartender, feeling that certain level of hospitality. If you don't have that, you're not going to want to come back. And it's funny because like I said, on the flip side, it's like, you don't have to serve the very, very best drink in the world, but if you have an approachable attitude and you're nice and you're presenting like you care about the client or the customer or the guest, they're going to come back.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a mix between execution and attitude, I'd say.
That's true.
Those are the two biggest mistakes we see, is attitude and execution.
I totally agree. And that's the best one here. It's always just going back to the basics and what really matters. All right. And that's how you just get the customers. And I also think when it comes to your stories, that there's a lot of people just learning more from what you're telling, what you're teaching, and just being there in the bar, presenting to clients, serving clients. They just having to watch you, they learn a lot. Right. And we're totally happy to hear that from the both of you as well. And of course, having to set that, from the pandemic, 2020, 2021, and now 2022 coming in to the last quarter and being here around, 2023, just being around the corner. Well, it's pretty fast pacing. Well, how do you both stay updated with the current trends in your industry?
We love Punch Drink.
Yeah, Punch Drink is kind of like, they're really the pinnacle of craft cocktail bar publications, right? So all of their newsletters that they send out, I devour everything that they publish. Also, just bartender forums online where bartenders are getting together on Reddit in different discourses, people talking about ideas, sharing knowledge. Same thing on Instagram, seeing what other bartenders and leaders in the industry are doing.
And visiting, new craft cocktail bar establishments in our own city or in other cities that we're visiting.
Talking with distributors, producers, different people, brand reps, and people who are selling new products that maybe you wouldn't know of until you talk to them.
And then we have an insane collection of cocktail books. So we definitely read a lot of cocktail books. We actually just got Death and Company's
cocktail books,
new book.
Yeah.
So, definitely. And then also we love again, going back to history. We learn a lot about what we're doing today from the things that were written, in the early 1900s, late 1800s.
Yeah.
You can learn a lot from, history in bars.
Yeah, and it goes really, the whole quality of ingredients thing was huge, in the past. And I feel like if we look at the simplicity and the quality of the ingredients that they were using and try and replicate and get as close to as possible some of the things that we're reading about from over 100 years ago, it makes it for a really cool modern day cocktail. And so I think that's one of the other things that we try and make sure that we're up to date on and accurate on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree, because right now, just even in TikTok, Instagram, you can just search it. Then there's a lot, learning more from the other. There's a lot, right? Even just a quick how-to, you can see it. And there's a lot of bartending. I see a lot in TikTok, honestly. How do you make their drinks?
And so, there's a fine line too, because, again, with this huge push to digital, right? 2020, I think even more people started creating platforms online, DIY, how-to type videos. And that was another actually kind of inspiration for us, is because we kept seeing online bartenders who were, using lemon juice from concentrate or, really, really subpar ingredients, but, teaching people how to make these cocktails. And it's wait a second, let's pump the brakes here. Let's do this the right way, because that's the crazy thing about the bar world. Right now, if you were to look up the recipe for an espresso martini, right? Let's talk about an espresso martini real quick, because it's super trending right now. If you look up espresso martini, you're going to get 20 different recipes. And so
from the first page of Google results.
And so there's a lot of, and it's not to say that, one's the supreme one and this one's wrong and this one's wrong and this one, but I guess what I'm trying to say is there is a lot of misinformation out there. So you want to find, if you are really, truly into cocktails and this whole experience, you want to find a trusted source that is, using proper measurements, doing
it the right way. You just want to learn from someone who's making proper cocktails.
And someone who, it probably helps if they do have some bar experience and they're not just.
Yeah, we like to go, when we teach classes, we always like to go and say, we have been in the industry for, around 20 years combined and behind bars for a long time, blah, blah, blah. Because we don't want people thinking that we went on YouTube and learned everything and now we're in their home teaching them.
Yeah.
Right? So
exactly.
Because that does happen. And there are some there are some people out there who do know what they're talking about, who learn online. There's nothing wrong with that if that's your background. But we take pride in doing things the right way. And we think that, everybody who's teaching online should be taking care that they're teaching people the right way.
Yeah.
I totally agree on that. Absolutely. And it's all about the credibility that you have from the experiences, from all the skills that you have learned. You have been honing it for a long, long time, and just bringing that into the table and helping people, not only special. Again, I agree with Haley. There's a lot of recipes. I don't know which one to choose.
Right.
Yeah.
That's part of the problem.
That's true. You don't even know what's right or wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then maybe you say, okay, I'm going to try this recipe. And then you make this one espresso martini and you think, oh, I don't like these.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily mean you don't like espresso martinis. It just means that was not the particular good recipe.
Right.
So that one we like to bring up because there's just so many bastardized versions of it where people are using Baileys or heavy cream. Or, it's an interesting one. So check out our espresso martini recipe if you're into it, because it's a good one.
All right, absolutely, absolutely. We're so happy to hear that again. This is totally true. I agree. It's all about just the best one that we have. Again, from Haley and Cody's combined experiences, this is absolutely a great, credible experience that they can use just to be able to help you, give you a service, and again, teach you. You have been doing lessons, and this is something that you want to try to consider. ASAP. Absolutely. And of course, we have been talking a lot right now, like, how do I reach Haley? How do I talk to Cody? How do we get you in service? How do we reach you guys? How would you connect with you?
We'd love for everyone to connect with us on Instagram. We are at Home Bar Network. We're also on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. We also have a website where we have a recipes tab where we upload new recipes very often. That's homebarnetwork.com.
Yep. And we're really active on Instagram. So if anybody wants to shoot us a DM or ask us questions or
we have a lot of people that will DM us and say, hey, can you remind me this recipe? Or, hey, I'm at the liquor store and I'm trying to figure out the best Japanese whiskey for this cocktail or whatever. So we're very active in our DMs, and we love talking about spirits and cocktails and all of these things. So please do reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, guys. While having to hear all of that, to everyone that is watching and to listening in our podcast, please do let us support Haley and Cody with the Home Bar Network. And if you do have any upcoming parties, any kind of events, you know which one to call. We just have them here. Again, it is Haley and Cody here with the Home Bar Network, and we are so excited to have you again with more future events with you, more parties coming in. Well, guys, you know where to catch them. It's always saying we'll just place it here down below in our comment section as well with our description, so it will be easier for you guys to reach out with them. Any more things that you want to add in to both of you?
Thank you for having us on. We've had a great time. Yeah.
Thank you for reaching out and inviting us onto your podcast and being able to share a little bit about what we do. We really appreciate the opportunity, and we hope you guys reach out and we can talk about cocktails and potentially plan some events. We can do virtual events with anyone all over the world. So.
That's true.
Well, let's do it, everyone. Again, this is a wonderful episode. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot coming in. Again, don't forget that they're doing different lessons as well. They have their website. There's a lot of value that they're giving in, and this is something that you might want to consider ASAP. Well, again, a wonderful episode with the two of them. And again, we would love to see you in our next podcast interviews again very, very soon, hopefully by 2023, when you are guys, you're not guys too busy, but we'll see you guys very, very soon. And I'll see you everyone in our next episode. Have a great day, everyone. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye. Cheers.
Are you looking for high quality, epic products for your man collection? Excalibur Brothers is a product brand for you.
This is perfect for gifting, enjoying yourself. This is a good and honestly lovely product for true gentlemen, as we say at a New York bar store.
So welcome to your kingdom.
Excalibur Brothers products are now available.